All right, good morning, everyone. So this is the Con Survival panel. If you think you're in the wrong panel, you can check your schedule, make sure, check everything, all right? Now's the time to do so. So I want to get a show of hands. Who's never been to a con before? Oh, it's like half of you. Who's been to CPAC before? Okay. Wow. Who else have gone outside the New York City tri-state area? Not much. Well, you come to the right place. That's right. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about a lot of things. But don't worry, we're gonna get through it like one by one. So, what we're gonna do is go what we're gonna do before the con. So we plan and prepare. So it includes time and money as well. There's also a health aspect that I'm going to talk about. So during the con, so as I said, money, time, yourself, okay? You got to take care of yourself, all right? And etiquette, safety, networking, there's also the self-care one, and also fighting the con blues and con press.
Yeah, take that mic out.
Yeah, I should have taken the mic.
Yeah.
But I've been pretty loud. I don't know if... Okay, very good. So I've done this before, so before you look for a con, all right, there's some aspects that you want to look into, you know, because every con can be different. It can be small to big, different sizes. Also, it can have a lot of people as well. How far is it? You want to go to something far, you want to go to something closer. The type of con you want to go to. This is an anime con, of course. There's a general con, there's a comic con, there's a steampunk one. There's an event that I've been trying to go to that's in pharmacy. I'm a pharmacist, so I got my doctorate 9 years ago, but...
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, I'm waiting for that, so mic's off. So I'm going to that as well. Testing. Okay, great. So, also there's a little bit of COVID guidelines. I'm going to actually... Hi Lois. Hi Peter. Welcome to Con Survival. Nice to meet you. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about COVID guidelines. You know, COVID is actually, we're trying to beat back at it slowly. But since I'm in the healthcare field, I'll talk about a little bit about it. So.
Thank you for your service.
Hey, I'm out there too, man. One more thing.
So there's also, most of the cons are physical, but during the pandemic, when Castle Point was canceled for the 2020-2021 season, this went online. A lot of cons have been going online. Now, some cons are going hybrid, which I'll talk about that. And also, you look into the reviews and feedback. Have you heard that if the con is doing great, if there's an issue with the con, whatnot? Also, of course, there's time and money. That's the most important thing. And also location, of course, okay? So registering early can help you with saving money. Okay, are there going to be scheduling conflicts? That's something to look at. So you want to be careful before you actually buy the tickets for the con, because most events, they're non-refundable. And also we're going to go into budgeting. I'll give you actually one example, but there are many ways. So COVID, it's been tough. Okay, I didn't have a lockdown. I actually had to show up to work. So, but it was damaging for our mental health, and it ruined so many people's, not only people's lives, but with all these things. It's a struggle. So, a lot of events have been canceled because at the time there was no vaccine. I'll talk about the vaccine in a little bit. All right, but we're not going to get into the politics of it. All right, you know, if you want to get it, it's up to you. That's my little disclaimer. Okay, so a lot of events were canceled, and simply because, as you know, it's to stop the spread. We don't want any more people getting sick and then people dying. All right. So some cons even rolled over to 2021, 2022. There's one con that is actually canceled for 3 years in a row, unfortunately. Not this one. So as a result, some cons would go online or virtual and would use different social media sites such as Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and so anyways, and also some cons went hybrid as well. I think New York Comic Con is going to go hybrid for this year, so if you can't make it, you would actually you would watch it online, but you still have to pay. So cancellations, so that's actually pretty new. So, you know, things happen, all right? So when you decide to cancel it, in many cases, it's non-refundable. But you can always ask whether you can actually transfer the badge to someone, you can sell the badge to someone, all right? There's always ways to do that. And if the organizers canceled it, there's also a choice between whether you want to roll it over to next year, the next event, or to get a refund. So every con has its differences in how to go about it. But also, please do your homework before purchasing tickets. If you think there's an impending cancellation or whatnot. All right, so you don't want to just go ahead and go straight to buying it. You know, you want to check all your schedule and all that. If you decide to go, be prepared. That's the best advice I can tell you. All right. And also, as I said, most cons and events, and even transit fares. So if you take in New Jersey Transit, there's no refund. If you take in Long Island Railroad, any commuter rail, there's no refund for the most part. Amtrak, it depends. Okay, if Amtrak canceled a train, you can actually get either a refund or you can reschedule it with no cost. Or if it's more expensive, you can just pay the difference, for example. And even transportation plans can get canceled even when the event still goes on, so be prepared for that. So consider alternate routes. Sometimes Amtrak cancels it, and I had to reschedule it. There was one time I'm going to Anime Boston, I think next month. They canceled my Amtrak train, and I couldn't find an early one or a later one. So I decided to go to Flixbus. So that's just one example. That's just one example. All right, money. Inflation, there's inflation going on. Everything's expensive. All right, so you have to estimate how much you spend. If Elon Musk is your sugar daddy, you may not have to worry about it. But unfortunately, there's only so much we can do. So we gotta make the most of what we have. All right, so you have to organize how much you're gonna spend for admission, for transportation, how much you're gonna budget for the food, how much it's gonna cost to book a hotel, and how much merch you wanna buy. I have a friend who buys over $1,000 of merch. I don't know how.
$1,000?
Yes, $1,000. Some people will go even higher than that. Okay, my budget for a con, if it requires going to a hotel, tends to be around $500, $600. And that's a lot of money. We're talking in transportation, the tickets, the transportation, the food, the merch, all of it. Personally, I use credit card. Why? Because I want my points. All right. For some people, when they use a credit card, they can't stop. But people have to understand that, you know, when you use a credit card, eventually the money has to come from somewhere. It doesn't come from the sky or from the trees. I'm sorry. If you use a debit card, that's great because you don't have to carry all the cash all at once. All right. If you do carry cash, be careful. Usually, I say carry about between $20 and $100. You want to go a little bit lower, or if there's an ATM available, that'll be great. All right. But always carry a little bit of cash, simply because not everyone accepts credit cards. Just like those Chinese restaurants. Just kidding.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
Every Chinese restaurant takes cash. I know this for a fact.
So you're setting aside money. There are different ways to do it. All right. So one example is that every paycheck you get, you devote a certain percentage. So an example, 10% of the paycheck goes into for the con budget, okay? Or what you can do is you can do it every week. So a Twine app actually has that. The earlier you start, the more money you're gonna save up. All right, but that again, that's an option that you have. So managing money, you have to be proactive and you have to think. You have to monitor it. I track every single cent in my notes app. All right, I even have my own planner as well to do it. All right, so always be prepared and don't just think that your iPhone or your smartphone is your way of paying it, okay? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So mix it up with cash, credit, debit, or even your phone. Not everything has, you just tap it and go. And as I said, keep track of everything. And avoid impulse reactionary spending. You have to take a step back and say, do I really need this? Do I really want this? I'm actually gonna go over that in detail. So you have to think and strategize before making decisions. So is it worth it? And ask yourself, you know, when you're in the con, will you have enough money after the con? So will you have enough to eat, to travel? Will you have enough for future cons? And in addition, will you have enough, God forbid, if there's an emergency? So you gotta be prepared for that. Some cons are free also. I think there was one in Montclair State University. One of my friends went there and did a panel there. And on most cons that are free tend to be online or virtual. Nowadays, you're seeing less and less of it. More and more becoming in person. Okay. Con extras may have extra costs, especially if you're dealing with online cons, especially if you're gonna see someone through Zoom, if you're gonna see a voice actor, voice actress on Zoom. In my opinion, I prefer to do it in person, even if we have to wear masks. So that's my book. That's for Anime Next 3 years ago. So when in doubt, always write it out. So I write down the transportation. I write down how much I spent on the bottom and how much I spent, over there. And then the pluses, I actually got credit for it because I have a certain card where I actually get money back.
Capital One, 2%.
Yeah, I have Chase and I get 3%.
What's in your wallet?
I have nothing. See? Oh, just my earphones.
I better why? I don't really need to know what's in your wallet, man.
You asked me that question. So this is the outline. You know, whenever you're going to have a rough draft, I always like to do it on paper. So you build your war chest. So how much money you want to contribute, daily, monthly, or weekly. How much. And write down how much you saved up so you can keep tracks of how much money you have. So you gotta have the convention event expenses, so that's your admission, your travel, your hotel, the food and drink, miscellaneous, so the merch. If you wanna spend $1,000, be prepared to spend $1,000. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not that kind of person who spends that much.
If you spend $1,000, I'm afraid for your safety.
So keep it, and also keep in mind the money to spend per person per day, especially if you're going in groups, okay? And this sounds obvious, but I still have to say this. You have to always have money left over. Don't shop till you drop, okay? You know, God forbid if something gets canceled and you have to buy for something else to get home, and you don't have the money for it, what are you gonna do? Especially if you don't have a credit card. Or cash. So you gotta be careful. So Anime Expo has one example. So it has it in the website and it's gonna be on Excel, so you can actually put how many people will be there in addition to budgeting. But it's complicated. Okay, if you're good with Excel, that'll be great. But I have one other simple version of it. Yes.
I got a question.
What's the question?
Was that Anime Expo version was pre-inflation or just
Free inflation.
free? That's all I got.
But it doesn't really matter if it's pre-inflation or not, you have to adjust.
Yes.
Yes. So when it comes to budgeting, I try to overestimate just to be safe. All right, just God forbid. I'm the kind of person who goes the other way because I'm very stingy about things. I don't like spending too much. So this one is one example to do it on tables. Do something that actually not only works for you, but you're able to use and you're able to see it clearly, okay? So this is, my friend actually runs PucciCon, so this is from last year in Atlantic City. So I wrote $700, for example. All right, so this is expected, right? This is how much you have. And then the actual, you may have more, may have less. That's why I put it depends. All right, the badges is about $75 for the whole weekend. That's fixed. I know it's kind of like a lot, but a hotel, I've seen it as high as like $300, $400. I paid $193, so that's fixed. So again, the money that you make, and then you minus it down, all right? And you can put whatever food. It's the reason I put $50 because I tend to get food from my house. And there'll be other times where I would go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts where I already have money in there from before. So I'll use that. And of course, I'll get my points as well. And then there's the merch as well, like miscellaneous, it's $300. I don't usually spend $300 for merch. I barely spend that much. So the total budget, for example, so it would be around $40.13, which is not a lot. So, you know, when you budget, you want to always have money available and be ready for, and God forbid something happens. Also, what you want to add, I mean, this is up to you. You can add like a set amount of money just for emergencies, just in case if something goes on. So be prepared. Registering for a con and an event. For most cons, each have a website, so it has a link. Of course, everyone knows that. And a lot of them, they use third-party sites. Castle Point uses Eventbrite. So, but there are other ones like TicketLead. If you go to KatsuCon, for example, they use TicketLead. There's Ticketmaster, there's Tixer, Rotex, ShowClicks. New York Comic Con, I think, uses ShowClicks. Some cons have different ways of getting tickets and badges. Like New York Comic Con has fan verification. Ooh, it's better than nothing because we have to deal with the scalpers.
What does fan verification mean?
So fan verification means that you have to fill it out. Okay, they want to make sure that you're actually an actual human being, basically, and that you're not a scalper. Okay, because what scalpers will do is they will sign up as different people, but they're not really people. They're just getting tickets for themselves, and then they sell it for God knows how much, among other things. It's a crazy time.
Like around 2017, I saw on eBay that they were selling out the VIP NYCC tickets for like almost 1K.
Yeah, I don't think they've done. Actually, they should. I think they brought it back.
No, they did that since like 2017.
Yeah.
It was like 1K. I was like, no.
Yeah, if it's VIP, I mean, there's other stuff. I mean, you have to weigh the options, okay? So, finding a place to stay, you already know that booking it early, you get your room just like that, all right? But if you wait, your chances of getting a room goes down gradually, and the price go up higher and higher and higher, obviously. But it depends on the schedule as well. So it's probably, this is why it's my mask, it's going on. So shop around. There are different websites. I'm actually going to show you a list of websites. All right, check feedback and reviews, especially not just on the hotels, also do it on the websites too. So be wary of that. So consider price, quality, and distance. I'm not a quality person. As long as it's clean, that's fine, and it's close to the con. But some people like free breakfast. Some people like, other amenities as well. So cheapest isn't always the best. It depends on how you want it. Okay, so you may have to increase your budget on that. So are you willing to spend more to be close to the con? It depends. All right, so if it's far and it requires more money to spend, then basically just spending more for the hotel, there's gonna be, how should I put this? It's not gonna be much of a difference in terms of spending, especially if you're being wary about money. And also higher quality doesn't always equate to convenience. And before booking, read the fine print. Before you hit that send button to charge a credit card or your debit card, you have to read everything before you book. And I strongly encourage putting insurance on it. Why is that? God forbid something happens. All right, so some websites, there's hotels.com, hotels tonight, hotels combined. I haven't seen hotels combined too much. Some people do Airbnb. Be careful with Airbnb, especially with the hosts. There are other travel sites. I tend to use cheap tickets. Travelocity, I use that. Orbitz, Expedia. You shop around, okay, when it comes to hotel.
Hotel Trivago.
Hotel Trivago. I think I have it here on the next one. Oh, not. Well, there's more coming in, so there's other sites. So I brought this one was recently added simply because I've actually went to a hostel in DC. So Airbnb, you stay another person, obviously, but hotels and motels, you book your own room. So you get your own space and all that. Of course, with your guests, if you invite the guests. And the price and the size, usually hotels are more, obviously, and hotels tend to have more amenities, but motels lack it. It's just a place to stay. Usually when it comes to hotels or motels, I'm barely gonna be in it anyway, because most of the time I'm gonna be at the con. So hostels, you share the space with strangers like a dorm. So, I put the COVID risk there for a reason, because unless if the hostel actually checks for vaccination or checks for wellness and all that, you wouldn't know if the person is vaccinated or not, or if the person's tested positive or negative, or whether if the person actually did test at all. So it's more affordable, but it may be risky due to privacy. I had the bunk beds over there. I had to stay at the top over there. So bathrooms that you have to share. I didn't trust anyone, so what I did was I brought the bags, everything with me, and I locked the door, so I just use it by myself, and I try to be as fast as I can. And I got my own soap and my own the loofah and all that stuff. I don't want to use other people's, obvious reasons. So if you're an extrovert, that's great. If you want to save money, that's great. But of course, as I said earlier, please monitor your belongings, especially your money and your devices, okay? And just for safety reasons, as I've just done, bring your own soap, your toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, especially your deodorant, okay? Loofah, shampoo, conditioner. If you don't have deodorant, go to the bathroom and get some soap and wash. Okay? We're gonna be in cons a lot, we're gonna be walking a lot. Most of us in cosplay, like I am right now, we tend to sweat. All right? So, please take care of your hygiene.
Don't be a smash later, take a shower.
All right, so we gotta save money, right? This is one example of what I did when I went to Atlantic City. All right, original price was $389. The evidence is right there. I screenshot it, okay? So the con has its own hotel block, and I save almost $200. Exactly. So finding a place to stay after booking, call the hotel that's reserved. Make sure it's legit. Make sure that you're actually in there. You don't want people to tell you, oh, you didn't book for it, even though you have the evidence, and you end up finding another hotel. Sometimes it may be too late to cancel. Some rooms when you book, not all of them are refundable. Some of them have a cancellation fee. Some of them have a date, the deadline to cancel. So again, as I said earlier, you have to read the fine print. So check their health support and support page just to be safe. So I say 5 per room. And I know COVID is, where we've passed the hard part of it, past the Omicron wave. Even though it's going up for some reason. So now I always ask, did you get your COVID vaccine, or are they fully vaccinated? Where's the proof? Okay, if you're ineligible for vaccine for whatever reason it is, did you get a negative COVID PCR test? It says here 3 days before con. You can get it if it's fast enough. You can get it 1 day before a con. All right, just make sure you have the proof. Also, find out if they do free bag coat check. What's going on with the mic here? Okay. What is it?
With the other mic, let's see if it works. See if the other one.
Testing. Oh, this works. Okay.
Yeah, that one's better.
So, now in this con, the next door in Harmony Suites, they have a free bag code check. So online cons or anywhere with good Wi-Fi or good cell service. So they tend to do panels online. So as I said, they do it different social media platforms. If one or more people will be with you, and I've been there before, find out who you're going to invite and know who you're inviting, and background check everyone. Okay, that includes the COVID stuff. And if they're sick, I strongly encourage don't come. Please don't spread it. Okay, stay home. Take care of your health. It's very important. Okay, determine who the leader is. So who's going to collect the fees? Who's going to make sure everyone's in the same page and everyone's coordinated? All right. I say get everyone's cell numbers, or if you're on Instagram, create a group chat, or if you're a Facebook Messenger, you can do the same thing, and try to evenly split the cost of the room. It's only fair. Would you want your hotel room like this? It's too messy. All the rooms that I've gone to are like this, okay, for some reason. What I do is I have my own bags here, over here. I just put them in one side, in the corner, right over there. Right over here. Put them all in there. All in the corner, right there, even my prop. Right there. I just put everything over there. So if I need something, I just go to one spot, that's it. But if it's all over the place, you're gonna be spending how much time? Oh, where is it? I can't find it. Oh, where? Oh, what is this? I don't know. Oh. And then you'll be stressed out, and then you'll be missing a panel and all that stuff. And we want to make it easier, so don't do that. Okay, ground rules. Yes, the rules. So first, you have to emphasize the rules. You have to be clean, not this mess, that the hurricane just flew in there. You have to clean up after yourself. I know it sounds obvious. Okay, if you make a mess, you clean right after.
If you make a mess, you clean a mess.
Exactly.
Clean it up.
Try not to eat on the bed, please. Don't.
Be messy.
All right, and try to put one things in one area, as I've done. Keep the noise level down, and be mindful of other people in nearby rooms.
Or headphones.
Exactly. All right. If you mess up the room, you may have another fee. So please be careful. The hotel may charge you more. And also keep alcohol to minimum. Also I know marijuana is now legal now, right? So also, I'm pro pot, but the thing is, that's not the point. The point is you want to be mindful of other people. Sometimes the smell might be too strong. So gotta tone it down a bit, okay? You have to also respect other people's spaces as well. That means being courteous, respectful, and polite as well. Transportation, next thing. So, you gotta budget extra time, all right? I tried budgeting extra time and I got stuck in the A train in the subway. Things can happen. And this is the advisory I got. So what the person was trying to say was there was track work and there's train traffic. I don't know how I understood it. Don't ask. It's okay. If possible, look for good deals when it comes to transportation. So you go through all the websites. You look through everything, cheap tickets, Expedia, all that stuff. Shop around, especially with flights, because they're getting more expensive now. 2 years ago, maybe last year, during the height of the pandemic, it's very cheap. Now, the airlines want to get their money back. So, gotta be careful. Also, when it comes to, especially with trains and buses, familiarize with schedules, but also know that schedules do get unpredictable. So, please, 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 okay, do your homework, research, all right, and know where and when you're gonna, when that mode of transportation, whether it's a bus or a train or commonly, you have to know the gates, platforms, and tracks. Had a friend who was going to a con from Penn Station, all right, took a train to Secaucus, was supposed to transfer to one train going northern part of Jersey. Instead, went to the other part of Jersey.
Yeah.
So, please, please, that's why it's important to give yourself extra time and know a little bit about it. Sometimes what I'll do is before the con, I'll actually explore, if it doesn't cost a lot, to explore the area and say, all right, this one is there, this one's there. There is one con I'm gonna go to with Camelback. What I did was I went to Port Authority and I wanted to know where the gate was and I wanted to know where the carrier, the bus carrier was. So I went there, now I know where to go and I'm good to go. I don't have to spend time like, oh, what's this, where is this? I don't know, oh, what's this? No, you have a plan, boom, you're there, just like that. And Google Maps is great, but as I said earlier in this panel, do not put all your eggs in one basket. Because Google Maps may not always have all the information, it has most of it, but also you have to use other sites as well. And if you see other transit carriers like New Jersey Transit or the MTA, go to their website as well. They also have itinerary planning as well. So research different ways to get there. This is not always possible, but if it is possible, try to always have paper and a lot electronic forms. God forbid if your phone dies, or if it doesn't work on the phone, use the paper. In New Jersey Transit, you can either do tickets from a vending machine or you can do it through the phone. Just make sure you charge your phone. I have 2 battery packs and I fully charged them last night. So God forbid, if my phone dies, I'm ready. So also, if they require it, nowadays they don't. I know New Jersey Transit, they don't have they loosened the mask mandate, so it's optional now. So proof of negative test and or COVID vaccination. So once booked, you monitor frequently because again, anything can change. All right, I talked about my Amtrak train that's being canceled or rescheduled. That can happen. So the person asked about the sites. So there's one with the Truvada, or not Truvada, but it's all these different kinds. You don't have to memorize it. So I think someone was asking about it. Oh, Lois, I think you were asking about the sites. Yes. Let me see if I have a Trivago somewhere. Yeah, there it is, right there. There's a Trivago at the bottom right.
Right there.
Right there. So these are all the ones that I found. You don't have to use all of it. If you want to take a picture, go for it. All right. But the ones I tend to use is Kayak. But Mondo, I no longer use now. But there's also Cheap Tickets. That's the one I use. Cheapaware is another one. All right, buses. We talked about the hotel. We talked about buses. So New Jersey Transit to get to Atlantic City, $70. There's an hour bus. I saved almost $30. I know $30 isn't a lot, but it's better than nothing. So just in case, hi Hawks, you can come in. We're good. Okay, so this, this is the example of a test. So just in case if they require a negative test, I prefer more PCR, okay, than the rapid. Rapid's fast, but PCR, at least it's confirmatory. So the only thing with PCR is that if you take the test too early, you may get a false negative. Because there's for COVID, there's an incubation period. It could be from 1 day, it could be up to maybe 3-5 days. So New York City has its own one, so you can keep everything in one app. You can have the test, you can have the vaccine, you can even have your license. Okay, I showed that to the people when I was at the front. I have the app. This is my COVID vaccination card. Actually, I did get a booster, but I didn't put that in there. Lower the sound, please. I'm sorry. Anyway, so keep it with you, protect it. Don't laminate it. Cover it. Put it in a sleeve, but don't laminate it in case you're gonna get another vaccine. That's my vaccine passport. That's the Excelsior Pass. I think in New Jersey has something called Docket. All right, so why is masking required in some places? Why isn't? I prefer masking because this is to help protect you. Okay, masking is just one layer. Again, do not put all your eggs in one basket. Don't rely on just one layer. You do multiple layers. So wash your hands, number 1. Number 2, mask. Number 3, vaccination. Number 4, if you're sick, you stay home, etc., etc., etc. Of course, air ventilation, that's very important, especially if you're indoors. Outdoors, you're okay, unless if I cough in your face. Okay, that's a different story. All right, and of course, social distancing. I'm tired of that, but still, social distancing is still effective if you do it right. All right, so that's the Swiss cheese model. So yeah, reason why it's Swiss cheese model is each layer is not 100% effective. Okay, but when you add all the layers, you've actually further reduced the risk of getting COVID. So that's how it goes over here. All right, so masks are confusing, right? So in New York City alone for transportation, masks are required. But when you go to New Jersey Transit, masks are optional. When in doubt, just mask up, all right? So, but the general rules, if you're not feeling well, or if you're coughing, or if it's even allergy season, just put your mask. If you're indoor places, put a mask on, all right? So I'm just gonna go just for the most important part, because there's other ones like healthcare settings and whatnot. That's another topic, all right? If you have recent or suspected exposure, why are you in this con? If you're not feeling well, why are you here? Stay home. Get better. Don't give it to me. Don't give it to anyone around you. All right? So if you're at high risk of COVID, I have asthma. I'm wearing my mask. And I'm also at an occupation where I deal with the public. Also, dense or large crowds. So this is pretty, even though it doesn't look dense, it's pretty dense. That's why it's important to wear a mask. And it's also not always feasible to do social distancing, so wear a mask. Okay, public transportation, very, very grayish, simply because some may have loosened the mask mandates. So to mask or not to mask, those are the different ones. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but it's just to show you how people can get confused, because some agencies require it, other agencies don't. So domestic travel, I mean, just to gloss over, so you want to delay it until you're fully vaccinated, basically. So safety, safety, safety. Follow all safety protocols anyway. You want to be safe. If you get sick, then you're not able to do things that you want to do because you're going to be quarantined, all right? And you have to isolate from others so you don't spread it to anyone. So please, 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 let's all do our part. So again, that's domestic travel. So you want to avoid those being at high risk, monitor for symptoms. And in some jurisdictions, some of them are more lax, some of them are more strict. Okay, you know, federal doesn't trump over the state or the other way. What's most important is that if it's the most stringent, you follow it. So international travel, it's a little risky, all right? So same thing, unless if you're fully vaccinated and boosted, have to put boosted as well. You know, I suggest you don't travel internationally, all right? If you do, you gotta step up with the safety protocols, all right? So you already know about the mask part. Also check with the destination, all right? Or the airline carrier, or which place you're gonna go to, because again, the rules can be different. So now the rules here, get tested at least 1 day before travel and 3 to 5 days after. Preferably PCR. The only issue, as I said with PCR, tends to take a while, all right? There is no need to be tested before leaving the US, so that's one obstacle out of the way, okay? Just know that sometimes destinations can require it, and there's no need to quarantine, unless of course you're sick, unless if you have the symptoms. But it's still good to get tested just to be safe. So that's just in the CDC website, so they talk about all the international travel. So this one, they may have loosened it in regards for having proof of a negative test, but always play it safe. Flying. So it's the fastest, but it's really expensive. I'm going to a convention in Vegas. It's a pharmacy convention. I've seen the prices range from $600 to about $900. So got to plan accordingly. And it really depends on which airport you're going to go to or land on. So you shop around, as I said before, and book early and fly, and try to fly in the least busiest times, and bring all your important documents. Not everything has to be electronic. Try to bring paper, like physical documents, okay? So May 3rd, 2023, you're gonna need to get a real ID or enhanced ID to fly within the US and also to get into Canada and Mexico, just in case. There are cons there too, if you wanna go to Canada or Mexico. And research what to carry or check, all right? So especially with props, okay? So with metals, they probably will not allow you to get in. And I believe there's liquids, I think 4 ounces is the rule. If it's more, they won't allow you in. Okay, medical devices, for example, if someone has a pacemaker. And I say arrive 2 to 3 hours before departure. My mom always tells me 2 hours for domestic, 3 hours for international. I think that's the general rule for the flights. Some people would go 1 hour for domestic and they're fine. I don't know how, but. Okay, trains. So it's cheaper, all right? And you don't have to arrive 2 to 3 hours early, unless if you want to, it's up to you, you know. Usually 30 to 60 minutes before the train or the bus departs. I usually say 250 miles or less around there. Flying may not be recommended simply because it's gonna be the same amount of time, especially if you arrive to a terminal 2 to 3 hours before the flight departs. So public transit, I use public transit all the time, okay? It's cheaper, it's convenient. You may get stuck in the train like I did last night, but you know, at least it'll get you there. So, but study the maps and schedules, know how to pay the fare, and always have a plan B and a backup. God forbid something's going on with a train. I actually post advisories for the trains and just the trains. Okay, New Jersey Transit Path, Long Island Railroad, Metro North, New York City Subway. It's on my Instagram, which I'll say in a bit. So, driving requires more responsibility. So always get your car checked as if you go to the doctor's office. Okay, I try to say, you know, check it every year, make sure it's running properly, and take a break every 1 to 3 hours or 100 miles. Okay, we want to stretch your legs and all that. want to get stiff. Carpooling, you gotta share, you gotta split the costs, okay? So with the gas and wear and tear and all that, and the tolls and the tips. Driver chooses the music, okay? If the driver falls asleep on the wheel, you're in trouble. Exactly. So cosplay planning. So I don't recommend con crunching, but we all do it anyway, right? Sorry, we have busy schedules. So research dress code and weapons policy. For each con, it's different. Don't assume they're the same, and don't assume they're not going to change it for next year. All right. And when you're planning for a cosplay, plan out how you can put it together. So have goals and objectives, stick to it, and start with what you have before buying more stuff, and gather your materials. I tend to buy it on Amazon. I don't have the time for that, but that's one other option. Always cost test. Okay, you don't want to have a wardrobe malfunction during the con. That's embarrassing. So weapons, I had to get mine actually tagged, just to be safe. So they each have its own rules. So, but you have to exercise good judgment. So when you consider the materials used. So if it's metal, they're probably not going to accept it. If it's sharp, they're probably not going to accept it. You might have to leave them in your car somewhere or in your hotel room. Okay, live weapons are not recommended. So those are the ones with guns where actually bullets come out, or if you have a bow and arrow and you're able to hit someone with it. No, sorry. Okay, that's me over there with my friend who is actually a kimono version of Snow White. So, how will you carry them? I use this is my sword. So I have a sleeve that I put it in, just so I don't get in trouble. So the NYPD don't think that I'm actually using it as a weapon. To be honest, anything can be a weapon, especially this. No offense. Anyway, so check with transportation carriers, okay, on how they do it. If it looks dangerous, don't expose it. That's why I cover it. Even when they have it covered in the sheet, people get a little intimidated. I don't understand why. It's EVA foam, like it's okay. So, earlier this morning, like before you get in, there was a table outside to get your prop checked. So it will be tagged in this case with the orange tape. I also got a zip tie from another con, it's still there. And if it fails, obviously you don't bring it to the venue, you're gonna leave it in the hotel room or car. And you have to hide it in case, so people don't steal it. So if you have something like a bow and arrow, you wanna feather it or disable it so you don't accidentally have the arrow to just be a projectile and hit anyone. You want to disable the projectile, so you want to cover the gun hole at the front. All right. So be careful with the sharp, pointy objects pointed away. All right. Handle with care and safety first. Very important. We don't want explosives, please. No pyrotechnics. Okay. No smoke. Not even bubbles. Bubbles could even damage some cosplays. Unfortunately. I know. So don't be surprised if any item gets confiscated. All right. Also, pepper sprays. I actually got in trouble for bringing pepper sprays, even though I hide it. So only for self-defense. Okay, don't use it just to attack people. I know that's a little off tangent, but I'm Asian, and I've seen the tax go up, so I have to protect myself. So the week before the con, so it's a lot. It's very detailed and all that, and you'll be experts, I hope. So you prepare the checklist, get your clothes, get your costumes. I say, one full outfit, one shirt, your underwear, your pants, regular per day, but it's up to you. All right, just know that if depending on how much you want to cosplay, you want to be prepared for what you're gonna buy in terms of luggage. Also, keep in mind what the weather will be as well. Okay, so if it's gonna be hot, you want to prepare for that. Now, if you want to be in the cosplay and it makes you sweat and it's hot and you don't care about it, it's okay. That's fine. Just wear your deodorant. Okay, I don't want to smell it. So, do not carry more than you're able to. I tend to carry a backpack, and I also carry luggage if I go out of state and if I'm going to stay in a hotel. And if they have an app, download it. This one does not have an app. You can actually use the website, or you can use the booklets that they give you over here. So, and don't overschedule yourself. Why is that? Because we want you to have a good time, and I don't want you to get stressed out, all right? You always want to leave breaks as well. And you gotta eat, which I'll talk about. I downloaded the con venue maps onto my iPhone also. And also get your itinerary ready. So that's your checklist. I'm not gonna go into it. So there is a website for it. You know, everyone has different lists. One of them is a Nintendo Switch. Somewhere there. There it is. There's a. Yeah. And the deodorant's right over there. Okay, very important. Exactly. So yeah, there are many sites that show you the checklist. This is just some of the examples, including the deodorant. Okay, the medications. I talk about the phones and chargers, the battery packs. What is it? What about which one?
Things at mouthwash.
Mouthwash? Yeah, I never bought mouthwash. All right, I have my own toothpaste actually in my bag somewhere. Okay, but it's okay. Yeah. If not, in many cases, there could be stores outside. There's actually restaurants and all nearby over there. You just have to go through the Holiday Inn. All right. So bring your wallet, of course. I had one person bring in a phone, and she expected everyone to accept her Apple Pay. Not everyone has Apple Pay, and not everyone has an iPhone. Okay? So, and also, as I said this millions of times, don't put all your eggs in one basket. What if your phone goes down into the gutter or in the sewer grates? You're screwed. Try doing Find My iPhone on that. Good luck. All right. So bring your documents, of course. Food and water, that's obvious. Obvious. Okay? And also pen, pencil, paper. I know someone who forgot to bring a pen today. And of course, if you want a planner. But if you're gonna have your planner in your phone, try to be careful with your phone. And make sure it's charged, like what it is right now. That's right, it's right over there. I'm actually gonna get into it, okay? Cosplay repair kit, I'm not gonna go too much into it. So usually in Michael's or Blick, for example, they actually have those little sewing kits. So in case if there's an accident. Or one time I was cosplaying Minato, a hole formed on this area. So I had to fix that in Anime Expo. Hygiene. Hand sanitizer, very important, okay? You wear a mask, and you have to take a shower once a day, all right? Did I say the deodorant? Yes, I think so, okay. Brush your teeth, I think, yeah, you have to do that, okay? And make sure your clothes are clean, okay? I know it sounds obvious. You've arrived, finally! Yes! All right, I arrived super early. Why is that? I have line anxiety, okay? I don't want to deal with lines. I want to get it right now, and I want to get into the event. Even if it's closed, at least you're able to explore.
Shout out to NYC last year.
I know. I was about to ask that.
Yeah.
What also happened in Anime NYC?
LineCon.
Yeah, you just said LineCon. What happened afterwards?
Unorganized.
COVID.
Yes, that's right. Someone got COVID.
Yeah.
I got tested negative. I had a test every single week. All right. So stay hydrated. As I said, find a free bag code check. In this case, it's next door in Harmony Suites. All right. And reevaluate where you want to go on the schedule. Okay. You know, just because you have a schedule, just be prepared that some panels may be canceled. Some panels you may not get into simply because it's packed already. So prioritize. Okay. The high priority are the popular ones, especially the ones with long lines. You want to get ahead of it, all right? Because if you get a long line, the problem is they may cap it and you're not going to attend your panel. And do not overschedule, as I said before. And in case if a panel gets canceled or you're not able to get in it, have a backup plan. Con breakdown. So the first three, splurge alert. Watch your money, okay? Dealer's room, artist alley. That's where one person told me he spent over $1,000. Just dealer's room and artist alley alone. Autographs, you're gonna spend money. I think John Cena was what, $100? I think
Yeah.
200, like,
400. Holy moly.
Oh, no, it was 200 on that time.
Oh, it's 200. Oh my goodness.
I remember that.
So, yeah, the voice actors and actresses need to eat too. Okay, I heard they don't, they come here for a living as well. I don't know if that's true. Maybe they're not making enough.
They kind of said movie.
Yeah, what
They
about
make a
it?
dime. And ain't stuff.
That's ridiculous.
They make a dime.
No, they deserve it, seriously. So, not all cons will have everything, but I think this con has everything given how small it is. So, dealer's room, artist alley, autographs, panels, photo shoots, they have it on the schedule. There's a masquerade. The dance is tonight.
Yeah.
There's gaming right over there. And then they're gonna do contests, I think, tomorrow.
Which is currently on for 2 hours for dance party.
Yeah, so online virtual con, so I'm not gonna go too much into it, but it's the online version. All right, so you don't have to leave your house. All you need is your Wi-Fi or good cell service. Okay, it's hard to spread the word because there's so many, and some cons can go hybrid, like New York Comic Con for this year. These other two, Puchicon even did an online one. That's the one I went to. And there's Comic-Gram. That's also, not many people know about that. So it's an alternative, and it has a similar list as well. So Arts Alley Dealer's Room would be, you have to buy it online. Some vendors would have their own Etsy accounts, but there's something going on with Etsy, I heard, but I wouldn't know because I'm not a vendor. Okay. So they'll do panels via streaming, so they'll have a Zoom, for example. So, but our autographs delivered, we notice there are different ways. They even have a dance virtually. You just dance your own room.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
They did that at one of the online virtual cons 2 years ago. Okay, 621 or 631, all right? When you hear that, it means 6 hours of sleep a day, 2 to 3 meals a day, and 1 shower or bath a day. And here it is, deodorant again. Don't forget. Okay. There was a study. They say 7 hours. If 6 hours isn't enough, then you gotta sleep more. I don't know what to say.
Except more room for men, guys.
By the way, is a monster a meal? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No.
Okay, when you eat a meal, it has to be real food. Okay? Why? Because I don't want you to pass out. Okay, you need your usual, the protein, the carbs. I know I'm not a big fan of carbs, but try to go for more complex ones. That's the one that helps you be full. You don't want the simple ones because they go off so fast and then you're hungry again. Exactly. Okay, so you gotta manage your money and time and energy and all that stuff. Being positive is number one. That's the number one thing. Any BS you have, that's out the door. I'm sorry. Okay. So when you schedule, be realistic. Okay. I'm the kind of person who tends to forget because I have 20 different things in my head. You know what I do? I put it on my schedule and I put alarms on it and notifications on it. Okay. As I said many times, be prepared for changes and cancellations. Have some breathing room between the schedules. I think in 15 minutes I'm going to go to attend another panel. It's I think it's Press Your Luck if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, anyway, wear comfortable shoes, so wear sneakers. I'm not wearing flip-flops. Usually he wears flip-flops, but also keep track of time and money as always. Look, and if you need a quiet, safe space, try to look for one. I like to go outside, it's nice out, even though it's a little cold this morning. And take a step back. If something's like overwhelming, breathe, keep it together. So there's a spoon theory. I'll go just for a little bit of it. So basically, yes. If you want to rest, you get more spoons. If you do an action, you lose spoons. Treat it like money. I didn't make this up. It's by Christine Miserandino. I'll explain a little bit. So you want to monitor that, but you don't have to follow it. I don't follow it. That's just a suggestion there. So different types of action determine how many spoons you're going to use. So usually when I do things, if I were to have spoons, I'd have a set amount of like 100, but for some reason, everything costs 1 spoon for me. I don't know why, but some people, it requires more effort. So more effort equals spending more spoons. So I don't know how gardening is 5 spoons. That doesn't make sense to me. I guess it really depends on how long you're gardening. I don't know how studying is 5 spoons. That doesn't make sense. Gaming is 3 spoons. I don't know what you think, but I think it should depend on what game you're playing anyway. If you're playing Animal Crossing, it would be what, 1 spoon? I don't know. 100 spoons. Whoa.
Duel Links 10 spoons, I give it.
Well, it depends on how many hours you're playing.
I play a lot. 8 hours.
20 spoons.
Oh boy. So yeah, so it's used for those with chronic illnesses. Again, it's a suggestion. So those who don't have a lot of stamina, I don't have to worry about it because I still have a lot of stamina anyway. So, as I said, unit of energy is measured by spoons. You round to the nearest whole spoon. Okay. If you run out of spoons, you're going to use it from tomorrow. If you still have the energy to be able to do so. If you're not able to borrow spoons from tomorrow, you're gonna pass out. And you'll be in a hotel room and you're going, and I actually passed out in Katsucon, and this was me. And I didn't even hear it. I asked my roommates, was I doing that? And I was like, then they asked me, do you have sleep apnea? No. I mean, usually when I have sleep apnea, not me, but my dad had it, he would go, and it stops, and then he goes, so, and that's just one person. Everyone has it differently, so. Now, everyone has different kinds of stamina. So if you're not sure, start at 20 spoons. Okay, but the number, you can choose whatever number you want. Maybe 100 or 1,000. All right, it's up to you. It's a suggestion. And also, this sounds obvious, but same activity does not equal to the same amount of spoons between each person. Gaming, maybe it's 1 spoon, or that person could be 3 spoons, as it states in the example. So, money again, very important. You have to ask yourself, when you go to dealer's room in Arts Alley, it's open right now. You ask yourself, why are you here? How do you feel? Do I need this? Is this a need or is this a want? What if I wait? How do I pay for it? Where will I put it? I barely have room in my own room anyway, so I may not buy it. Yes, what's your question?
Couldn't a want and a need be the same? Like you want it so badly.
No, there's a difference.
If you don't buy it, you'd be emotionally devastated.
Yeah.
So you don't need it physically, but emotionally and mentally you need it. You see it.
Yeah.
If you don't buy it, you think about it, and you have to go back.
Exactly. How I see it was actually a little bit more different. Like for example, I need water, but I don't need orange juice. It doesn't have. You can't always need orange juice because there's different drinks. That kind of thing. So I just weigh between materials, air, food, that kind of thing. But that's a good way of putting that. So etiquette, everyone should know cosplay is not consent. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't be like the previous New York governor, okay? Please don't, okay? You have to be polite and respect each other. Even if the person's being disrespectful, get away from the toxicity. You have no time for that, okay? Remember what I said? Out the window, okay? Always ask permission when you take it's obvious. Exactly. I was in Atlantic City for another con, all right? I was Minato, I was walking. There was a person who was on the recording from the bottom, and I was walking, I felt some walking, like taps, and the person was recording, and I looked at him, and he ran away from me. That's disrespectful. I mean, you know, a good thing I was covered, but what if it was a lady and it was a pervert over there? That's unacceptable. Please, please, please do not. And report it if someone does such a thing, okay? That's, again, unacceptable. So, try not to surprise and do sneak attacks. Be careful with possession and costumes. Do not get upset if the person says no, if the person doesn't want to get a picture. And also do not feel pressured to say no, okay? It's your body, it's your cosplay. So if someone's harassing you, you state and address it, you report it, okay? And you get away from that person. And be with a group of friends, okay? Try not to be by yourself if there's someone there. Also report it to police, con staff, con ops, whomever. Etiquette, don't block traffic. If you're doing pictures, go to the side, all right? Okay, we have photo shoot meetups scheduled as well. We can do it outside as well. There's actually more space. You know, when you go closer to Holiday Inn, you know, like you can do all these pictures. You also have to respect people's space, okay? Don't be like, gotta keep your hands up to yourself. Be alert and aware of your surroundings, okay? Okay, cosplay judging, all right? That's only in contests. Okay? If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. Alright? No one's perfect. Okay? It's about the art.
Creativity.
Exactly, it's about the activity. There are many ways to cosplay someone. Okay?
And a rocket here.
Exactly. See, I love it. See? And give suggestions how to improve. You know, we want to be careful when you do want to constructively criticize. And you don't have to hate and love a cosplay, because, you know, not everyone's a pro. I'm not a pro. Okay? And respect your art, at least they cosplay. So, one example, you can mix it up, all right? That's right, Team Rocket and being partly Akatsuki.
I like that.
There's a half Naruto, half Sasuke.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's also different kinds of Sasuke to cosplay.
That is so cool.
So, it just sums up over here. It doesn't matter your height, your weight, your race, your gender, your age, your skill level. Anyone can cosplay, okay? And you look great, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what people say, it's how you feel. That's my little PSA. All right. Exactly. So, be yourself, all right? When you network. It's not always about fun, but there's also networking, because you never know if you're gonna get some good ideas from other people, all right? So making friends and exchange info and ideas, and also the things that you love and you're passionate about, and ask about, you know, interest in cosplays, and share your passions as well. You know, at the end of the panels, you can speak to me. It's okay. And that's my Instagram. I'm usually on Instagram, and you'll see right now you'll see like posts about mental health and all that. I post cosplay, don't worry. So you can DM me, all right, if you want to follow. So I'm autistic, so I need practice. So I do it with a friend who I trust. Sometimes I have a script, so if you're not sure how to approach, usually a lot of people, they're very respectful, all right? You just want to be careful with words you use, all right? Don't be a racist, obviously. Okay, if a person doesn't want to be friends with you, it's okay. You know, it's not your fault. All right, don't take advantage of anyone, and the other way is true. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. And also, especially on my Instagram, please don't spam my DMs. Please don't blow up my phone. I have a regular life too. Come on. So one tip, I met the part of the cast of Fairy Tale. So sharing common interests, so, you know, if you're in an online group or forum, so icebreaker questions like, hi, how are you? And I love this topic, I love the show, what season you're at, and you don't have to feel bad, you know, if you haven't finished it. I barely finished most anime anyway. We're all well, I'm working a lot, so I'm a full-time pharmacist. Okay, have you been to cons before? Which anime or manga do you like? which characters you like. Try not to go too much with ships because people are so passionate about ships for some reason, so I'm not going to go into that. So help and advice, for example, when it comes to cosplay or whatnot. So common places to do networking. This place is one of them. So you can do it in Artist Alley, dealer's room, meetups, photo shoots. Okay, lines, dances at the parties. We're actually going to go into parties. Oh, but before that, I have to talk about social media. You know, every action has consequences, okay? And you have to be responsible with what you do. Okay, so you have to be careful what you post. Okay? You have to ask yourself before you actually hit the send button, because even if you delete it, there's always going to be at least one person who will catch that and probably screenshot it to their phone. You never know. What are the benefits? Is there a risk or is there a consequence? What's your reason for posting this, especially if it's something negative? What's your motive? Keep it clean, respectful, try to be more fun / educational. Don't post misinformation, there's too much out there. Please don't. Okay, don't be toxic. Don't be racist. Don't do discrimination. Please do not. All right? This is not a place to do so. And there's no shaming as well. Yes, finally, we're gonna talk about the parties. The party's gonna be tonight. All right? If you're, yeah, that's exactly right. If you're below 21, no booze. Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
Good. All right. So 21 plus. Not only you have to limit the alcohol intake. I'm going to tell you this as a healthcare professional. Don't mix alcohol with other drugs. Okay.
That's dangerous.
No illicit drugs. No smoking, vaping. I know, like just recently, it's recreational now for marijuana. Try not to do it. Like do it outside. Okay. And if you work for, I think I heard if you're NYPD officer or whatnot, you probably can't do it at all anyway. So, full meal before partying. Why do a full meal? Does anyone know?
So that you're full and ready to have
Oh, yes.
So the alcohol can absorb into the
Slower, yeah. Yeah, that's right too. So you can eat and have fun. So those two are good answers, but the main answer is if you drink alcohol on an empty stomach too fast, you're gonna get drunk right away. Okay? I'm gonna talk about alcohol soon. Just watch. Okay? So you have to stay hydrated as well. I've said that many times.
lots of water.
That's exactly right. Okay, don't give in to peer pressure. If they tell you to drink and you don't want to drink, don't listen to them. Get away. All right. As I said, walk away from negativity. Get away. Okay. Go with the friends you trust. Okay. I know it sounds obvious, but and take it easy. Don't overdo it, or else you're gonna pass out. You may get a hangover. Okay, we don't want that. Okay.
God, the giant cup.
Yes, that's right. You have to limit alcohol intake to 1 to 2 glasses a day. That's what I usually tell my patients. All right? I'm going to tell you the right way to do it. All right. I know, that's my favorite picture. I put that picture for myself. Okay, so 1 glass is not that one. I'm going to tell you what 1 glass is. 1 glass is 0.6 ounces of pure alcohol. That's 18 milliliters. So that's a little bit more than a tablespoonful of the pure alcohol. And this is some of the examples. All right. So 12 ounces of beer, if it's 5% or 10 proof, will get you to 1 glass. 5 ounces of wine, I actually had one last night at my mom's birthday. 12% or 24 proof. So 5 ounces, that's about a little more than half a cup. 12 ounces, that's about a cup and a half. 1.5 ounces of a shot. This size, if it's 40% or 80 proof, that will get you there. So obviously the higher the volume and / or higher concentration, the more likely you're gonna get drunk and pass out. So, if you're a woman, 1 a day. Sorry. If you're pregnant or nursing, 0, the goose egg. Please, no. If you're on medication and interact with alcohol, also 0. All right. With men, it's 2 glasses. I know life is not fair, okay? But the reason being is that men tend to have higher metabolism, and we tend to have more muscles, so it tends to use more water, so that kind of thing. But I'm not going to get too much into details, but that's usually what CDC guidelines would say. So be careful what you're drinking and how much. So I already told you about who gets no alcohol, below 21, if you're pregnant or nursing. If you're a designated driver, okay, do not drink alcohol, okay? Please don't. And I suggest you don't smoke before you drive either. Okay, if you take medications, as I said, if you have certain health conditions like cirrhosis, that's issue with the liver, don't drink alcohol. That's the chart. Please do not remember the numbers, okay? It will not be in the next test, I promise you.
There's a test.
No.
There's no test, just for fun.
There's no test. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm so sorry. There's no test. I promise. Okay. Okay. So, the green is safe. The yellow, I call it the tipsy level, and the red, that's when you just pass out, bam, into the floor. Okay. So yes. So that's right. The more drinks, the more you get to the red level. So the skinnier you are, the more likely the closer you are to the red level. That's basically it. If you eat a lot of food, okay, and also depending on the amount of alcohol you drink, you may get the level a little slower, but you still have to watch whether you eat something or not.
I have a question.
Yes, what's the
Can
question?
you get above a 3.0 or a 3.3? Like, what if you have 6 drinks?
It depends. Some people have these enzymes that are able to break down alcohol faster. I barely have that. That's why I turned into a tomato. It's called flushing. No, not the one in Queens.
Right.
I meant that's what they call it.
Right. Yeah, flushing now.
Okay, I'm not gonna go too much into the math. I don't know who likes math, but I love it. I see numbers everywhere, but that's just FYI, okay? So amount to drink in ounces times the percentage of pure alcohol, which you will find in the bottles. I always look for it. People at the party, I had a party with my mom last night, they were asking me, why are you always looking at the percentage? Well, that's why. I don't want to get drunk. All right, so divide that by 100, that's the ounces of pure alcohol. So very important, as I said, for women per day, maximum 0.6 ounces. For men, that's double that, that's 2 glasses, that's 1.2 ounces. So I'm just gonna do this quickly. I went to the bar and drank 8 ounces of Hennessy, Ciroc, 40%. So how much pure alcohol did I drink? Well, 3.2 ounces of pure alcohol. Okay, what is a 3.2 ounce? That's a lot. So 3.2 ounces. We're actually gonna be over there intoxicated. Yeah, exactly. Okay, after the con, assuming you survived the hangover, if possible, I try to attend a feedback session. I don't know if they have it. I know last time before the COVID, they had the feedback session. If you're not able to make it, oh, you have a question?
Oh, no, sorry.
If you're not able to make it because you have to leave early or whatnot, you can also email the con. It's on the website as well. You want to maintain contact info with people who you meet. Keep in touch. Share your pics and positive experiences. Don't share toxicity, as I said earlier on my slide on the social media. All right. And because I get con depression, I plan for my next con event, which we will talk about. So mostly normal and temporary. It happens. Okay. So what I tend to do, I plan for the next con. So I'm gonna have a con in 2 weeks, actually. So focus on something positive. You keep in touch with family and friends. You want to take it easy, one step at a time. Diet and exercise is also important, but especially with exercise, try not to go too easy. The most important thing is to keep yourself active. Consistency is important. So as I said, plan for another time. That's what I do. All right. Private cosplaying, yes, sometimes we do that. Some friends do that. And If you still have the issues, seek professional help, get some drugs. I mean, well, it depends. It depends. You have to get a prescription first.
Right.
I'm not going to give you the prescription, sorry. You have to see a psychiatrist. Okay, there's a BetterHelp app, that's one example. I have a therapist who I see every week. All right. Also, make sure you get good insurance, that's a side note, because things are getting expensive now. Con crud. Who got con crud? Good. Looks like no one got it. All right. I got it once after Anime Next, and that was way before COVID. And what I did was I went to a Key Food nearby, and I got the lemon juice, I got the tea, and there's Dunkin' Donuts nearby. I also got a hot tea as well, and I was drinking a lot of fluids while working. But that's a bad idea. Don't work and still cough. So I learned my lesson. Okay, sorry. So getting sick during or after a con tends to be a cold, flu, or other illnesses. So what are the factors? Drinking too much. Okay, poor hygiene, poor sleep, poor diet, a lot of junk that you're eating. All right. If you're in a large crowd, remember this one I actually did this before COVID. This slide. Okay. If you have a compromised immune system, for example. Also, get tested at least about 3 days after you come from, especially if it's something very, very crowded. Okay. In this case, I think you're okay because you actually need to be fully vaccinated to get here. Okay, I'm not gonna go too crazy into it, but because I'm a pharmacist, I like talking about this. You gotta get your rest and fluids, that's the most important thing. If you're not a big fan of medications, get rest and fluids. Okay, please no alcohol, please, you've had enough of it, okay? So, people use Tylenol is a safer one, it's for pain and fever. Ibuprofen, there's also Aleve or naproxen, that's also for pain and fever, but you have to take that with food. But also consider if you take any other medication, or if you have any health-related issues or chronic issues, all right? So cough drops, I've used menthol. I have it in my bag as well, because I think I'm having one right now. Vitamin C and D used for immunity. D is also used for bones as well, and there's meclizine if you have motion sickness. Okay, guaifenesin is for wet cough. So if you have mucus coming out, dextromethorphan, you'll see that is used for more dry coughs. You'll see that in Mucinex DM or Mucinex and whatnot. You don't have to remember the names, okay? You just look around and you'll see it there, and then you'll think, hey, this guy brought this up before. Oh, now I know. There's antihistamines. Allergy season is horrible. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I think it's probably the cherry blossom. Just kidding. Okay. All right. I recommend Benadryl. How come people don't like Benadryl? Why is that?
I mean, for me, any allergy medicine at all can basically turn me into a zombie. So
okay.
And all of them, Benadryl is the worst.
Yeah, but what's the other reason? Some people.
Drowsy?
Yes, that's right. So some people get sleepy.
Yeah,
that's why ZQuil and also Benadryl, they have the same active ingredient, and it's called diphenhydramine. It's just ZQuil, it's doubles, 50 milligrams, 25 milligrams for the allergies. All right. Claritin, Zyrtec, Allegra. Allegra works for me for some reason, but the other two, it's less likely to cause any drowsiness. Okay, I'm not gonna go too much into it, but please read the label. Please, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Okay. So, also consider if you take any other medications. All right. So always ask your pharmacist. Your doctor, yeah, if you have any questions. That's right. Take home messages. I know it's a lot. That picture's for myself. Plan early. Be organized. All right. Have backup plans just in case. Be proactive. Try not to spend a lot. Okay. Having fun is your objective. Being positive is very important to do. All right. Anyone can cosplay. So if you're not ready to cosplay, it's okay. But don't let people tell you, oh, you can't cosplay this, you can't cosplay that because of X, Y, and Z. It's an art. All right. Make friends. Your health is important. Respect each other. Be polite. Stay nerdy. By the way, the nerds make the world go around. Just letting you know, all right? I'm one of them. Okay? Don't spread COVID. Don't spread the flu. Don't spread the adenovirus. There's actually a mysterious hepatitis thing going on. Don't spread that either. Okay?
How can you guess that?
Yeah.
It's for kids, so they're thinking it's adenovirus, but they're still looking into it. CDC still working on it. Yeah, it's going on with the kids. And get vaccinated against the COVID flu if you're eligible for it. Okay? I strongly encourage it. It's safe, trust me. I got them. All right. Thank you so much for coming. All right. I know this is a long, presentation, and I know a lot of people left.
It's okay.
But it's okay. I will post it on YouTube. Okay. So I'm on Wild Goldine. I also want to thank Jazzy for contributing to it and also checking my slides as well. So I'm here I have 5 minutes left, so if you have any questions, I'm here.
No, I'm probably gonna change everyone.
Yes.
When are you guys having lunch?
So if so, have a great time. Be safe. Stay healthy and safe, as my friend Nikki says. Have a good one.
The voice of Canal.
Canal.
The Demon Slayer.
Canal.